scars on the surface, but they deeper within. Every stitch is a chapter, every break is a win. From the pain we ascend, like the phoenix we rise. Scars podcast, where the truth never lies.
We're back with another episode of Scars. Today I got my mentor, Mr. John Blassingame. How are you doing, sir?
I am blessed.
Awesome.
I am feeling wonderful, and it's a pleasure to be here with you, Dave, gentleman who I've known for a long time.
Yes. Man, someone that I admire you. You know, I've been able to kind of learn from you. You know, what a lot of people don't know, there's not a lot of people in the industry that's willing to teach. But Mr. Blastingame is someone that have no problem. If you show up at a John Blassingame event, he will take the time to give you game.
Yes, sir.
And that is a beautiful thing. So I have been looking forward to today. And before we go any further, please tell the people a little bit about you.
Well, let me just say that I started out with Hearst Magazines. I was the first black that they hired. And with the biggest afro, okay? And being at the sales meetings around a bunch of the white boys, and they would kid and tease me about my afro. But I knew that I was there for a purpose. Because at that time, wasn't many black magazines on the newsstand. And Hearst, as you know, published Cosmo, Good House, Harper's Bazaar, Town and Country, Sports and Field, Road and Track, and the major publications. Okay, so I learned how to maneuver myself through that world. Okay. And once I learned it, I brought it back home and taught some of the folks. I worked with Ebony. I worked with Essence with Jonathan Blount, Cecil Hollingsworth, Ed Lewis, and Clarence Smith started Essence. Okay. I worked with them to show them some of the things that they had to go through and the hurdles that these white wholesalers put us through. Okay. So I was able to help them. I worked with many publications, and working with the publications, and I'm going to tell you how I got into producing shows. There was a gentleman named Dwayne Love. Dwayne had a magazine. He's out of Detroit, by the way, 8 Mile Road. Dwayne had a magazine called Us Quarterly. So Dwayne came to me and he said, John, you know, I hear that you're the man for the newsstand, etc. And I said, okay, yeah. I said, I can help you out, Dwayne. He said, but I want to get the name out there. I want to promote it and what have you. I said, all right, Dwayne, let's do this. Let's have a fashion show for the publication, but let's invite people from the industry and let's use professional models, but also non-professional models that are trying to break into the industry.
Okay.
So that was Jennifer Bryce, my cousin, who was working with, at that time, the top agency. And she came out and coordinated and did the production for the show. She also invited some of the other models like Peggy Diller, Tookie Smith, and some of the other, the gentleman Quiet Fire, who was the top black makeup artist in the country at that time. But we also had models from the local area come out, designers from the local area come out and do this show. Unfortunately, the magazine didn't make it, but the show was such a popular show. We had room, and at that time, I was doing dinners, okay? So we ordered 350 dinners.
Wow.
600 people showed up.
Wow.
So I went back to the catering place. It was a place called Town and Campus. I asked them, I said to the banquet hall, could you get some extra dinners for me? Yeah, but they charged me double.
Wow.
That's why you don't see me doing dinners anymore at the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, I lost on this one.
Okay. Okay.
But it was a wonderful show, and it went well. And people asked me, when are you going to do it? So from then on, and the date was in August 1976. It was on a Friday the 13th.
Wow.
Okay.
1976.
1976 was my first show. And I've been doing these shows from 1976 without stop till 2020, COVID hit. That was the only time I did not do any shows because, of course, you couldn't do them at the hotel. And
Yeah.
it was all shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I think it was back in 2023, I came back.
Yes.
And I've been doing the shows ever since then.
We were just at your show.
October the 26th.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep. And so I've been doing the shows. I worked with Will Packer.
Yeah.
Will, when he first came to Atlanta from FAMU, he had a FAMU, and Bernard Bronner helped him financially, and I helped him promote that. Menage a Trois with Kenya Moore. That was his first movie.
Okay.
And Will has been going on with movies. In fact, as you know, Will Packer was the first Black to do the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
All right, with the one that Chris Rock got smacked by.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, some of the movies that he's done Think Like a Man, Straight Outta Compton, Ride Alone, The Girls' Night Out. I mean, and he had some TV shows he did. I was invited to a sitcom he just did, Fight Night, $1 Million Heist.
Yes.
He's never forgot what I did for him. You know, when I want to talk about some of the publications. My first publications that I published myself was Hype Hair, Today's Black Woman, and Black Men's Magazine. Well, when Will asked me to help him out, I put him on the cover of Black Men. His wife, his first wife, she was a school teacher, and she was doing some special programs. I helped, we did a story on her.
Okay.
And Today's Black Woman and the programs that she was doing, and supported him. And the same thing with Bernard Bronner with Upscale Magazine. Bernard initially had a magazine called Smart Shoppers. Okay. Smart Shoppers was a magazine with coupons and etc. that he was going to put at the shows with some of the hair product companies that, you get this coupon. He printed up all 200,000 copies. It didn't go worth a darn. So I said, Bernard, you're advertising in Ebony and you're spending $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for a page in Ebony. Why don't you have a magazine of your own? I can get it out on the newsstand. I can act as your consultant. We put Upscale out.
Wow.
And it's been out now for close to 35 years. Okay. On the newsstand. Okay. I work with many smaller publications. I worked with Sheen Magazine. I met Sheen at the Barner Brothers show. It was a pamphlet that she was giving out, Mrs. Kim Chapman. Kim said, oh, I'd love to get on the newsstand. So I said, okay. I said, here's what we have to do. I said, you get me a product that we can put out. And I said, and I got them a printer. I got them some ideas of editorial and what they should be talking, and etc. The Chapmans have been going the shows now. Doing the publication for about 12 years now, 13 years. I've helped them, and I'm going to bring out a little scars. I've helped them get out on the newsstand, got them a printer, a national distributor, brought them advertisers, etc. They asked me to help them out with getting someone, because they had the Sheen Awards every year in Atlanta. So they asked me to get Will Packer for them. And I got Will for them. And I said, okay, Miss Chapman, I got Will. Can you get a room and accommodation, because I'd like to be there. After all the number of years that I've been with them, they've never invited me down to the Sheen Awards.
Wow.
So I said, can you get an accommodation? Oh, no, we can't afford it. That was the last straw. I said, after all I said to myself, and I let them know in a nice way, but I said to myself, after all the years that I've been with you and I've supported you, this is a Black publication, let me try and work with them, okay?
Wow.
And you did this to me. I cut them off. There's so many young publishers that I've worked with, so many folks that I work with, and Dave, you know what it is.
I know.
Okay, you do these things and you go from your heart. See, let me just say this. My wife says to me, John, you have a kind heart, okay? But people don't give a damn about your heart. They'll stomp on you, okay? And many have. But, I can say this, and if I may say it, and all right, you've always been a friend to me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you're a person of your word. Okay. And that's what I go by now.
Absolutely.
A person tells me something.
Absolutely.
That's why I open up to you, because of that. Okay. But it's been a trip in this industry.
All you do is help people.
Exactly.
And I've been coming to your events for over 20 years.
Exactly.
And
You've been right there. You've been right there. I've supported. I've supported so many.
Singing, dancing, makeup, hair,
models, designers, magazine people.
To the point where you're teaching them how to walk before the show.
Exactly.
If you have to get it done. And there is no place that they can go to.
Well, that's again what I do. And, sometimes you got to delegate. Okay. But I got to be to make sure. And, and then also, besides doing that, to make my guests feel warm and present. And they let them know that, hey, I'm here for you.
Yep.
And that's what I do, and that's what I've been doing for the past 44 years.
Wow.
44 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And for a Black man in America, that is a feat. Going through what I went through with the white folks, and some of our Black folks, too. It has been. But I continue to do it. And you can't change within you the positiveness, the energy. And I'm an outgoing person. I love doing what I do. I love, bringing people together. I love that energy.
Not only that, 20 years ago, you were flying people to Paris.
Yeah, and I'm still doing it. I just
20 years ago.
To God, I'm still. I just paid for a trip for February. the model, the international
Yeah.
model of the year, the male model of the year, the male and female. I'm sitting in February, and he's going in March. I just had the international full figure. She's going to Cancun in March too. She's going to Cancun. So I'm still,
We used to be at those shows, Jay, like, hold on, wait, he's flying them where?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So you've been flying people to Paris for
Right. And
40 years.
40 years. Yeah.
Ain't that something?
But it is the fashion industry.
Okay.
And that's where they want to go. Deborah Shore, who is one of the top models now in the industry, she's been for now almost 20 or 30 years. In 1989, she was my international female model of the year. She's right from Philly, in the urban area of Philly.
Okay.
She would have never got to Paris for that, if it wasn't for my shows.
Wow.
Okay. She's 6'1", long neck. If you Google her, you'll see it.
Okay.
Deborah Shore. She's modeled for Valentino. She's been on the French Vogue. She's been on the cover of Essence. And she's modeled in the top shows every year in Paris for some of the top designers. She went to Paris and never looked back.
Awesome.
She's come to my shows twice.
Okay.
Just to let him, appreciate what you've done.
Can you think of any scars like early on, like getting magazines started or just,
Oh yeah, well, the scars are, as I said, working in the industry with these, it's a white Jewish industry. Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a white Jewish industry. Okay, and I still think about this. Hudson County News. That was the wholesale agency that I worked out of. And we had folks from TV Guide, PDC, which is a national distributor, Hearst, Cable News, etc. These are the distribution companies.
Okay.
And it was all white boys there. And one day, one of the white boys took my coat, stepped on it, and he said, "Oh, now what are you gonna do?" I said, "I'm gonna get you a coat and I'm gonna step on it too." And he said, "Oh, that's my coat right there." And this is the kind of jokes that, and I took the coat and I stepped on it, and they were all laughed because it wasn't his coat. It was the guy that for distribution for.
Wow.
I said, "You." But this is these are the things that I had to go through. It was difficult. And then you had to deal with your own folks, again, that, you want to work with them and you help them out and you give them a certain decent price and, oh, I can't afford it, and they stick you. And and I'm a nice guy and I'm trying to work with you and I'm trying to help you out. And I don't want to say, hey, the hell with you, take your product, and I'll tell the distributors that don't put your shit out.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to, I'm not that kind of a guy.
I know.
But some folks, you got to do that with, and you don't want to do it. Because, and dealing with the models, the same thing. Okay, you deal with them, you work with them. You call me, Mr. Blastingame, can you connect me? Or can you get me here? Can you do this for me? And when you ask them, well, can you do that? Oh, well, I can't. And I'm saying, hey, come on.
Even with the talent, you had me working with the talent for you.
Oh, yeah.
They would show up, wouldn't have their music,
Mm-hmm.
or think it's a concert of their own, want to go over,
well,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And they
Exactly.
wanted it all for free. And I used to say, like, you can't go nowhere else and get this.
They can't. Exactly.
You
But they did not, and, so I've learned a little bit to be a little, and with my wife telling me constantly, hey, you got to do this or that, because, hey, they'll see you go down and they'll laugh at you and like it don't even matter.
Yeah.
Okay. But I thank God that it didn't turn me down. It brought me up.
I mean, you've changed so many people's lives.
Exactly.
Just continuing to stay in the fight. You know?
I had a call from 2 people. What was it? Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. And they heard that, that I was going to be semi-retiring and let Mark take the shows. They said, we want to honor you, Mr. Blastingame, because you brought so much to our lives. I forget the one of the girls, but one of the girls' name was Tracy, and she said, I'm in North Carolina right now. 20 years ago, I came to your show, and you talked with me, and you motivated me. And, I've been doing some things, event planning. I'm in North Carolina today, 20 years later. I am an event planner right today.
Wow.
From just listening to you. I mean, I've heard so many, again, folks saying, oh, man, Mr. Blastingame, you've helped me so much, But, hey, listen. And you know what? I don't even, how do you say it? I don't feel, I'm doing anything that great. I just feel, hey, this is a normal thing I do. That I try and help somebody. But God has given, and I thank the man above.
Absolutely.
For doing what he has done, okay, to put me in position to be able to do that, to help people.
I remember being in the meeting a young lady, and she said, hey, I have an idea for a magazine. An idea.
Oh, that.
And I picked up the phone and I called you, and I told her, I said, listen.
I remember that one.
You have to be in Newark. So I will pay for you to
go and be able to have a vending table.
Have a vending table, just because that's where you need to be. That is my gift to you. And months, you had her magazine going in the stand.
And she
didn't have a magazine or anything when she was in the meeting, because she was in a meeting on some music stuff. And she just told me her dream was to get a magazine off the ground. And I said, let me make a phone call for you.
Bingo.
And I said, not only am I going to make the phone call for you, I'm going to pay for everything.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for you not to go. And she said, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I haven't spoke to her after that until you called me and said, oh man, she flaked out.
She flaked out. I put her in touch with Hype Magazine. She went over there. She got the connection with Hype. I put her in touch with the distributor. I got her printer to print the magazine. Okay, she didn't want to pay me. Oh no, you ain't do that much. I'm saying.
She said I charged her to introduce her to him. Like he was on the 3-way when I said, hey, I'm going to pay for it for you.
Right. He paid for the vendor's table and everything.
For her. Just good luck. I hope it work out.
Okay, but these are the things that I go through.
Man, I know. Like I mean, handling the talent for you. They would show up, wouldn't have a show, never did a show, and they have requests. They need tea, they need water. They need their own room, they need this, they need that. And I used to tell them, like, hey, this is an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Embrace it. Because they couldn't
don't want it
anywhere else
and get what you gave them and what I gave them.
What you gave them. Couldn't go anywhere else.
No. But those are the things that we go through. They take advantage of the kindness for weakness. Okay? when we're trying to help them out, especially our folks that we, you say, okay, you're not going to be able to do this, okay, because the system is not going to allow you to get into a certain position.
Absolutely.
Okay. As I said, I made so many phone calls for models, for designers, for magazine people.
For artists.
For artists. I made so many phone calls to get these folks to where they are and, to open the door for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, they get in and some of them get in and slam the door right in your face.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
There are not too many John Blassingame.
Yeah.
You continue to fight for the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
Like even at your events, you will stop and talk and help.
But that's been said to me, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's been said to me. You're too accessible. People can talk to you and you give them that time. Okay. Other folks put layers between them and those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not that kind of a person. My wife and my son say, hey, you can't be that accessible. This is the way I am. I have not changed over the 40, 50 years I've been in this industry. And that's how I am. It had smacked me in the face and kicked me in the butt many a times by doing this.
How many magazines do you think you have had printed?
Oh my God.
1 billion?
Well, with Cosmo, every issue was almost 2 million copies.
Wow.
I've meant my Today's Black Woman, Black Men, Hype Hair, okay?
And the swimsuit.
And the extras.
Yes.
And I've also, and I want to say this, I worked, there was a gentleman named Bentley Morris, okay, that I worked with. Bentley had Players Magazine, Players Pictorial, and Players Classic Magazine. He had some other white magazines called, a girly magazine called Adam Film World, etc. And he had a book line called Holloway House Books. Iceberg Slim, Donald Goines, Radcliffe. Okay. I was Bentley's East Coast representative. I got these magazines, and you guys are too young to remember F.W. Woolworth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Woolworth stores, they had the Woolworth building on Broadway downtown. Okay. I'm the one that went to see Mike Rice, I still remember, who was the book buyer for Woolworth. I'm the one that got these books into F.W. Woolworth stores. And there was another group of stores like Woolworth called McCory's.
Okay.
And I got these books into McCory's. So Sid Smith came up with the idea, but of course, didn't have the money. So Bentley Morris, a Jewish guy, who had the idea, the money behind the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took the magazine. He made Sid co-publisher or publisher, but he owned it.
Mm-hmm.
He had Sid sign it over to him. So I met Bentley at a CETA convention. He had one black publication that he was talking to, and he came to me and said, "Hey, I heard that you're the guy for, to get into the black publications." He said, "I have one coming out, Players," and that was Players Magazine.
Okay.
He said, "I want you to handle the East Coast for me." So I got it into Hudson News and all the major distributors. and I got the magazine out there for him. Okay. And then him and Sid had fallen out because he wasn't taking care of Sid. And he got rid of Sid and kept publishing the magazine.
Wow.
Magazine did very well.
Wow.
Very well. He started out with Players. Then he had the Players Classic, Players Girls Pictorial. He made a lot of money.
Wow.
He made a lot of money. The other books that he had, the Iceberg Slim books. Bob Beck, all right, who was a pimp.
Okay.
He made money off his books. Donald Goines, Swamp Man, oh man, all the other titles that Donald Goines, he made money off him.
Wow.
Radcliffe series, all right. I worked also with a company called Distacor. That was a Canadian company that was trying to bring distribution of their title into the U.S. They had Hockey News. They had a title called Rustler. They said, okay, we want you to open up the U.S. market for us. And if you can do that, we're going to have you run that territory. So I went and I got their titles. I brought new titles on and etc. onto them. They opened up an office in the Gray Bar building on 42nd and Lexington Avenue. Okay. After I brought all that, they went from, I think it was like $300,000 or $400,000 gross revenue to $3 million from what I brought in.
And what year was this?
This was in the early 80s, late 80s.
So that was a lot of money.
Okay. And so we got an office space, right, in the Gray Bar building, 42nd and Lexington. Okay. And you know what they did? They brought a guy in, Tony Barshoe. I still remember the name. Tony Barshoe made him the president of the New York and made me the general manager. All right. So the white boy got it. So that hurt me so much. So you know what I did? I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do now. That's when I started New Day Associates. I started my own distribution and circulation company. I told the publishers that I brought to them, to Distacor, I'm leaving, I'm going. 8 of my publishers came with me when I left to start New Day.
Wow. You built up that company.
Yeah.
And
I built a mini company.
Yeah, and they
All America. Okay. The Bentley Mars. I built that up.
Wow.
I built Distacor. Okay. Many. Sheen Magazine. It was a pamphlet. I built that up. Many.
Wow.
That's been my.
That had to be tough.
It was.
I can't imagine.
It was.
One of the things that I got you here, I got to ask you. How do you keep doing these events? Because I will watch you let so many people in for free.
Yeah.
And I come from doing events, so I know you are paying
for them.
Them.
You know, the sponsors and the vendors space and etc. Okay, pays that. Okay, but that takes away from the bottom line.
Absolutely,
totally. And you're right. My wife gets on me. And the security said, "How can you survive?" These people. Oh, John, my friend. Oh, yeah. A gentleman came up to the door. Oh, John Blassingame, he invited me here. That's the only reason why I'm coming. I'm here. I'm standing right next to the guy. All right. And they say, "Oh, you know John? Oh, yeah, that's my buddy. That's my friend." And it says, "Oh, okay. Do you know how he looks?" "Oh, yeah, what do you mean? I know." I'm standing right next.
Wow.
So they said, "Well, John, who is this?" I said, "I don't know who the hell you are, but how do you tell people you know me?"
Wow.
That happened. The guy was standing right next to me. You know, it was me.
Wow.
And he's telling the people at the desk and my security, "Oh, I know Sean."
He invited me.
Yeah.
How long you been at that Marriott?
About 30-something years, 35. I was one of the first shows that was done there. Forbes Husted, the first GM that was at that Marriott.
Wow.
And I've been there since the first GM when he first opened it up till now.
Yeah, Jay, you jumped on a lot of those stages, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. I remember you young little whippersnappers. Hey, many a show.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've been in Jersey, the same area in Jersey, or you moved around?
I've been in Jersey all my life.
Wow.
Yeah, my mother and father came up from Greenville, South Carolina. And, my father, they stopped off in Washington. And then they moved to Jersey because I had my aunts in them, the migration. And, but I was born right here, right in Jersey, and been here all my life.
How did you end up in that magazine space?
There was a gentleman, a Jewish guy, all right, who saw me and he liked me and he said, I have an opportunity for you. He said, "I'm leaving and they need to hire someone to take my place." He said, "I watch your personality. I think that you would be a good fit there." He said, "But first, we have to go." They had to call New York, Hearst Magazine office on 8th Avenue to get, an approval for it. And then they had to talk to Bobby Cohen. You heard of Hudson News. There are all those newsstands and they own them. All right. So they, I had to go in and meet with Irv Canner over in the New York office. Then I had to go in and meet with Bobby Cohen, all right, and talk with them before they approved for a black man to work as a rep for Hearst Magazine. And I've been in the industry since. And I started out at 20 years old.
What was it? Was it challenging once you got the job, kind of going in and
Yeah. You mean being who I was?
Yes.
Of course. It was. I knew, as a black man, and you're going around them, you know what they're about, and you know automatically in your mind how they are thinking about you. Mm. You have to be strong enough to overcome and try to, let it go and just flow with the situation. If I would have let my feelings dictate to me how I was going to react to a certain thing, I would have never gotten to where I was, because they try to, and that's what they expect you to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay? Is react.
It's react. And I'm learning so I can take it back home. And that's what I did. I brought it back home.
Wow.
Ebony, they wouldn't take the distributors, okay, would not handle the magazine. So what he had to do, Mr. Johnson I'm talking about, he had to go to the black newspapers and start bringing them, have them distributed for him, putting it out for him. Okay, until the wholesalers saw the profit of the magazine. Okay. And all the wholesalers, when they saw what Ebony was doing and the money that it was generating in the black community, oh yeah, we'll take it. That's when the wholesalers took it on and distributed it into retailers such as Barnes and Nobles, ShopRites, and all the major stores.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that set up the distribution for it. They would not do it at the beginning, okay? They let him build it up.
And then they
took it over. And that's what happened.
Wow.
Okay? And, hey, listen, we know what this is all about. We're a $1 trillion economy in the U.S. 1.1 trillion, the 16th largest economy in the world. But we don't have anything in our community. They come in and they take it and they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're not broke. We're not poor. We're just broke because they come in and go right out of the community.
Absolutely.
All right. So, and there's no unification or there's no unity in our community to keep it going. And that's what we are missing. Unity in our community, So.
And we're working towards it.
Oh, yes.
We are on.
Yes.
Because a wise man, one of his sayings is, let your network be your net worth. Brother, that stuck with me when you said that 20 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
That is your saying.
Is your network.
Yep.
And that's what I try. And I guess that's why I'm still trying to network with people and try to bring people together. Because, in unity in our community is the only way we're going to cohesively stay together. That unity in our community. And I've written some brothers to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes you get a headache, but then you take 2 aspirins and keep moving.
So you have another show in 2025 in October?
October, yeah. Well, we have 2 shows. We have one in May that we're doing for Shiloh Baptist Church.
You were telling me about it.
Yeah, the church used to do the Ebony Fashion Fairs. And they, but when Ebony stopped, doing the shows because of, what happened with print media and Johnson Publishing. So they asked me to bring it back to their starting out with their church. So I'm doing that. I have a casting Sunday at Shiloh. They have a big, they call it their Art Cultural Center.
Okay.
Right. They built it right next to the church. And they asked me to put the show on there. So Sunday I'll be casting models and designers.
Okay.
And, for that. And then the show is going to be May 18th.
Okay.
In October, I'll go back to the Marriott for the designer and full-figure model showcase.
And the winners go to Paris.
Yeah.
Jay, you sure you don't want to be in the show, man? Get your trip to Paris.
I'm good.
Hey, you good, huh, Jay?
Yeah. This is good, man. Well, Mrs. Blastingame, thank you for coming out.
Hey,
I appreciate
my
you.
pleasure.
Meeting with
My
us, man,
pleasure.
and sharing some of your scars with us. We appreciate it. And, I'm looking forward to the show in May. I'm going to come out in May and October.
Right. I appreciate it. Well, you're always there anyways to support.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're going to do something a little special this time. So I'm looking forward to it. So
right.
Thank you for coming
I look
out.
forward. Well, it's again my pleasure. And Dave, when you call, I answer.
I appreciate it.
And that's the way it is.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I hope I've sent some nuggets out there to our community to let you know what you put out in life comes back to you. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
There it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview.
Mm-hmm.
We out.
Scars on the surface, but they deeper within. Every stitch is a chapter, every break is a win. From the pain we ascend, like the phoenix we rise. Scars podcast where the truth never lies.